congratulations, you're a sales manager. Wow, isn't that going to be great? You're going to lead the sales team with your vision. But let's have a look at the 6 most important parts of being a sales manager, and then we'll have a look at how you can get people to share that vision. Okay, I'm going to put up on my screen here 6 individual points, and then I'm going to talk to each one of them. The first one of which is that you're responsible for talking to customers. You're also responsible for talking to the community. You're also responsible of selling to your subordinates, the equals around you, your superiors, and to the other people in the same business. So don't panic about it. Let's have a look at the first one. So our first one here, our customers. A major role of the sales manager is to lead the negotiation and the presentation and the point of sale with customers. Now, you're not there to do it on your own. You need to work your sales team into presentation habits, presentation standards, and basically you're there to sell your customers that your organization is worthwhile to do business with. Now, an important point here. The sales manager should not look after the number one customer. The sales manager should have his top rep looking after that customer and then supervising that it's being done. Because most of the sales manager's role is 80% working with their team to get things done and only 20% putting the icing on top of the cake. The next most important face that we've got to be good at is community. Now, this is selling to your employees' partners and families and wives and people out in the community when you're doing employment interviews that your company is a good, ethical community employer. You see, it has become more and more apparent as information has been able to be shared on the web that companies like Nike, Adidas have been forced to look after their child labour situations because of community effort. So the sales manager needs to be good at assuring the community that they deal with, suppliers, customers, staff, neighbours, that this company is a good ethical company. Then of course we come back to number 3, which is the subordinates. You've got to be able to sell your sales team on your vision. And that vision can be as simple as 5 face-to-face calls a day. You need to be able to get them to understand that we need to have standards, and at 5 face-to-face calls a day, it is worthwhile doing. Less than that is not achievement. And sometimes you have to help them fill in call reports, sometimes you have to help them with major sales, sometimes you have to help them with documentation, but most of all, you've got to sell your vision to the sales team of following your leadership. Okay, so how about fighting around the boardroom table, around the management meeting table to get resources? I need new flip videos, I need to be on YouTube, I need to have my Facebook and my social media looked after, I need to have laptops for my sales reps, one of my reps needs to have a new vehicle. Now that's what we call selling to equals. Now remember this very simple little phrase, look good. The sales manager in selling around the boardroom table, it's about making everybody look good for supporting your reasoning. So that's where the business case comes in, looking at what happens if we don't do this and what is the return on investment if we do it. So the look good factor of helping people to see around the table that you're not just always in the money pot, you are looking at things reasonably, and that's selling to your equals that this is a good reason to do. Remember, in sales, a lot of accountants see us as just unnecessary expenses. We could of course reverse the role and say how much revenue does an accountant bring in as against how much revenue does a salesperson bring in, and it could be quite interesting. Okay, the next most important one is selling to your superiors, the person you report to. The marketing manager, the general manager, the managing director, the company directors, the investors, the stakeholders. Now, with superiors, they make decisions all day. They generally like to feel as if their decision was the best one, but it was based on everybody else's input. So when you're selling to superiors, you need to be realistic. If you sell to your superior an optimistic outlook and it fails, he looks bad. If you sell him a pessimistic one and it actually delivers, he looks bad. So sit in the middle, be realistic. Remember that your authority to govern your sales team is because of your superior has delegated it to you. Don't ever put them into a bad situation. Selling to superiors that this is the time to make the decision is your most important task for getting investment for your team. And then you probably, if you have a look at the screen, you'll wonder why I'm saying competitors. In today's ethical world, it is not about colluding with the other suppliers. It is about standing up for your own ethics in the marketplace that says we will not deliver shoddy goods, we will not cut prices willy-nilly, we will not say things and then not deliver them. We believe in our standards of customer relationships. Now that is what we call standing up for our own ethics. Once you do that in the marketplace, the other suppliers rapidly start to follow you. Now you may argue back and say, but we've got somebody who cuts prices and does silly things now. There is what's called a business life cycle. They will go out of business sooner than later. So come back to the ethics. So if I have a look at those 6 key things, you thought your role was just leading the sales team. But remember, your role is certainly about customers, about the community. It's about the subordinates. It's about selling to the equals. It's about selling to your superiors and also selling to the other suppliers in the marketplace. Now to take it a step further, I'm going to talk to you now about the tools that you actually have to do this selling of your vision. I'm going to just change the slide now, and I'm going to talk about 2 tools. I'll put them up on the screen now, tasks and people. You have salespeople to achieve the tasks of calling on customers. That's all you have, 2 things. Tasks of meeting customers' requirements, and you've got people to do them. And your job is to actually manage the people to do the tasks effectively. And the tool for doing that is this very simple little phrase. People work better when they understand what's expected of them, or standards. If I say to the sales rep, you need to increase your face-to-face calls, and I don't set a standard, I can't expect him to understand what I want him to do. If I say to the sales rep, you're currently doing 3 calls a day, I need you to do 5 calls a day, now he has a standard. He can then go about his tasks because he has seen the standard. If we say the call report is for your own internal measurement and needs to be filled in and you can see how well you're doing, then you give it to me. Then if the sales rep doesn't do the task of the call report, they have not met the standard. If we say you need to get 100% of your budget before you get a bonus or a percentage share of results, then if the sales rep gets to 97 or 98%, they didn't break the standard. If they got to 101 or 102, they've broken the standard. So if you want to get people to believe you, you want to get people to understand your vision, then set standards in place. Standards for when they turn up to work, standards of how they present to customers, standards of how they treat their car, standards of how they behave in meetings. And then you'll find that as a sales manager, your sales team will follow you everywhere you want them to go because they clearly understand the tasks they're supposed to be doing and the standards of expectation. Of course, you shouldn't set too high a standard. You should be realistic. And being realistic is a standard that can be achieved given a reasonable amount of effort, given good attitude, given a focus by the salesperson. So as a sales manager, set standards, allocate tasks, and ask the people to perform to them and remind them of their good behaviour. When you remind people of the standards, you stop arguing about personality. When you remind people of the standards, people start achieving them. So to focus on your job role, think about those 6 phases of sales, think about the 2 things that I mentioned to you, tasks and people, and get cracking and set some standards. So Mr. Sales Manager, congratulations on your job role. I think you're doing a great job. Thanks for listening to me, and remember, for more skill tech tips, look at GWizTV.com.